Welcome to Eyes in My Life. Love you and cause I love you so much. Oh, 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 I just love you. I just like help. I just like help. I just like you too. I just like you. I just love you. Happy New Year! I love you, say goodbye. Just going to school, and that's okay. Yum, 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 yum. I just love you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Optimize Your Life and the Golden Rule Society, Making a Better World. And we're so glad that you joined us today. It is Tuesday, and we're moving right on here in October. Beautiful day. I looked at this, saw the weatherman today at the map of the United States. We have mostly incredible weather all over the country. And now that makes it great, and I know that helps with areas that have been damaged and hurt by the storms of the past. And we're just going forward, and I just think it's a great day. My name's Ron Clayton. I am the president of the Hope Collection, and we sponsor this program. We actually sponsor 5 days a week for Optimizing Our Life radio show. And for those who are joining us either for the first time or referred to us or might be listening in different platforms that we operate on, I guess it's over 90 that our expert in technical internet services, Mary Stanley, has helped us expand our reach. And you may be listening in today, and we want to welcome you. This is an open forum program, and although today we have a title for today, and we think it's extremely important, it's called Travel Tuesday. And I had the privilege a couple of years ago, as we moved through this world, and I've got a background in jobs and businesses and working through life, and the greatest one of all of them that ever came to me was my best friend. He's my best friend, business partner, a spiritual guide. One day said to me, "Ron, you ought to meet this guy. You ought to talk to him." Now, if you had a friend who was a PhD in math, who had been a mathematical or a financial guide, so I actually worked as a representative for the Reagan and Bush administrations. There are a lot of people in this country trusted what he said, and he said, "Talk to this guy. What would you do?" So I made a phone call, and I was fortunate enough to meet Mr. Rick Reese and his wife Brenda, a couple that not only have, they have blazed a trail in helping people accomplish things in their life and help them move up and improve, and in the quality of life that they've been able to help bring not only to my wife and I, but to many, many others. And so today I have this privilege of introducing you to him, and I want you to know him like I know him. And what will happen is that the wisdom and experience, and he's fun. A lot of people know a lot of stuff, but they're not like they're dry, or what they want to tell you is they preach at you or something. No, what I have is a friend. And I want you to know my friend. Hello, Rick. How are you this afternoon?
Hey, I'm doing fine. I've got about 2 minutes. Doing my civic duty here. And standing in a voting line.
Are there a lot of people
still there?
Rick?
Hold on. Okay. Yeah, standing in a voting line here. So doing my civic responsibility.
Are there a lot of people voting?
Okay, hey, in fact, I'm in line next. So, hey, we'll talk to you soon. Good to talk to everyone on the show. And Ron, you are the man. Travel Tuesday, and you always make it happen. Talk to you later. Really?
Are there a lot of people voting, Rick?
2 more.
Yes.
Well,
Yes, in fact, I need to hang up here. We'll talk to you later.
Well, I believe Rick, as you could hear him, he is in line in Charleston, I know this is the first time he's voting down there. He just moved there last year. And so, as you know, we have this real important duty. As a citizen, we have a responsibility. We have stewardship, which means we have responsibility, and also it's something that, as being a person, really one of the fortunate people, one of the few people that are born in this country, we have that privilege to protect and elect the people that represent us. And right now we have a new opportunity this year going forward, and from the presidential standpoint, and then other representatives actually help put our government together. And we're thrilled that we have this opportunity to fulfill the idea of voting and being a citizen. So as a citizen, we want to encourage people everywhere to take that responsibility and vote. I know Rick will be back here. He'll sign back in here, call back in here in a second. He's probably going right now, going into vote, so we'll wait for him to come on back. In the meantime, I started to talk to you about travel and this being Travel Tuesday. And that was why Joel Griffin recommended that I talk to Rick, because he and his wife had completely involved themselves in this program that was sponsored by, they found a company called Surge 365. And it happens to be an international multi-billion-dollar company that has succeeded in the transformation of the travel industry, going from a brick-and-mortar operation where they had a little building in the corner of a plaza or something like that, and there were little desks, and they had brochures on the wall, and they had people. They had a magic box under the desk called a printer, and if you wanted to get any kind of travel, whether it was you wanted to get a plane ticket or you wanted to go on a vacation, you had to go to a travel agency in one of these offices. And then there were some big companies, AAA, they're still around, Surgeon and Benson Surges. I mean, there's Liberty. There a number of these companies, and they hired them offices all over the world. And then the internet came along, and when that happened, the airlines decided they didn't have to pay commissions to people that did all their booking for them. They can get people to go online and they can book it themselves. So they stopped paying commissions to travel agencies, and so what happened is most of them failed. They went away. But the need for travel professionals existed and has grown even more today. And you say, well, wait a minute, you got all these places, Hotel.com and Booking and Kayak and Expedia and Travelocity. You got all these companies out there that can book something for you. And that's true, they can. But what they can't do, what they won't do, what they don't do is provide any service. If you have something and you've got a trip and you want to go to Disney, well, yeah, you can just get some tickets for Disney and you can maybe get some discounts. But what if you're planning on spending a week and you want to go to take the kids, you want to go to Legoland, and you want to go to some of the other programs, SeaWorld. I mean, there's lots of other Universal Studios. You got lots of choices today. I'm just using that one city because it's very popular. Most people know it. But if you want any help, there's nobody to get help in the normal world. See, we don't operate today in the normal world. We don't think it's a normal world. But we have the opportunity through our programs that we offer to be able to put people in positions to fulfill that need, and get paid to do it. I'm just mentioning that today because I want everybody on the phone to realize we're not here to sell you something, and we're not. I love Glenn Kane on the show. He says, we're not here to sell you anything, and we're not. We are here as an umbrella of organizations and people to be able to deliver to you connections to fulfill needs you have. Now, if you decide you need to travel, you understand, you get service. You can get some services they'll charge you a flat fee. Some of them charge you a percentage. Some of their prices are just higher. But nobody wants that. Everybody wants the best deal you can get. Well, we have some programs that guarantee you the best price, and that's money back guarantee. And we're excited about that. And I will share that that's available through different people that actually are part of our Hope Collection, Golden Rule Society, and then obviously some people who are independent. But we want you to know that we can do that. The big key is this. After COVID, when billions of people were locked down for a long time, the desire and the understanding to be free and travel has grown. I have to tell you, the beginning of next year, all the cruises are booked. You'll be lucky if you can you might get one person if you want one cabin. You might get lucky if you're talking early next year. And they're already starting to book 2025 and 26. And we happen to know that because we are travel agents ourselves, so we can talk with authority. But the idea is this. You're going to pay more next year because the prices of competition drives up. Now, first it drives up the cost. But then if there are more cruise lines available, that'll drive price down. So guess what? There's some new cruise lines available, and that helps. Then if we are in a position to help you with the idea, fulfill the service you need, well, then you can contact any of us, and we'd love to help you do that. The big thing is that we want to promote is the fact that it's okay to dream. It's okay to have vision. You might have had one, for an example, my wife and I are perfect examples. For most of our married life, I would say even before we were married, we had dreams of going to Europe. My wife had studied English history and loved British history and all the things about it, and she wanted to go to England. As a matter of fact, when I met her, she was going to go with her girlfriends. And being the guy that I am, I said, well, why go with them? Don't go with them. Marry me and we'll go together. We can talk about them, talk about it for the rest of our lives. You'll never see them again. Well, you know what? That is partially true. Guess what else was true? On our 10th wedding anniversary, and Lynn and I got in a plane, and we flew Air Canada, Toronto to England. And we went on that tour 3 weeks in England, and we drove all over the place, explored the country. We stayed in inns, we stayed in bed and breakfast, we stayed in hotels. We did the whole 9 yards. And I have to tell you, we didn't have a credit card. I don't recommend anybody to travel like that. We did. We did. Back then, money orders was money, the American Express checks were pretty popular in most places. They didn't love them in Europe, but so we always pay extra to cash them in. Just some experiences. But we had a wonderful time, and we did that trip. And we've been back since, and we're going more, and we've been back to Europe now, and we're going back again. The thing is that we had this dream, and for the longest time, we never did it. Why? We didn't have the money. Every time we'd save a few bucks, something would happen. The dishwasher died. We needed a new car. I had changed jobs. I mean, there was just so many things that prevented us, or we thought prevented us from doing the travel we wanted to. So other than that one trip I promised Linda we'd go to England, we did that. I'm a man of my word. But then years later, we're working, and I was in retail management, and I was in printing and doing things. My wife worked for a newspaper, and we worked, and we worked, and we worked. We were going to buy a house that didn't come through. So I said, Linda was disappointed. I said, well, look it. We've always talked about going. That's when we went to England. So we did that, and that opened the door to our thinking, boy, wouldn't it be neat to go back, go here, go there. And then all of a sudden, Joel says to me one day, well, Joel, Ron, you and Linda should talk to Rick and Brenda Reese. Okay, so we made that call, and it changed our life. And from that day forward, in fact, within months of our having that conversation, Linda and I were on the Viking River cruise. And we went from Amsterdam, flew into Paris, and then went to Amsterdam, got on the Viking River cruise, and we went from Amsterdam to Germany and France and Switzerland. And we had a magnificent time, both in the history and the food and the people we met. And it was first class. In fact, I think Viking's one of the best river cruising companies in the world. And when we got home, this was really neat. There's a check in our old mailbox. We got paid to go on our own cruise. So, guys, there was as exciting as travel exciting without question. But I look at it differently today. I look at it as we've come across people who are looking for careers. The job market being like it is in companies, people had, well, it used to be in our, when we got out of college, if you got a good job in a big company, you thought you had security. And then in the late 80s, early 90s, what happened was job security went out the window. It didn't, in fact, it was a lie to begin with. And you could do a real good job, and the minute they could hire somebody to do the same job cheaper, you were out of a job. Or if you got older, they found someone younger to do it. See, when you don't own it, and this was the key, when you don't own what creates your income, the opportunity, you're susceptible to somebody else controlling your life and your future. So we got introduced to this program called Surge 365, and we've been able to create income, create travel, help others, and then we got income opportunities to help share that with others. So today I hope that you'll understand when I talk about travel, I'm not trying to brag on what we've done or how great we got. I'm trying to say to anybody here, I picked up a new term last month. I've never heard of it before, side hustle. And I'm not going to joke, a side hustle. I'm thinking of side hustle. It almost doesn't sound like legitimate. Well, no, a side hustle is something you do outside of a 9 to 5, 40-hour, 50-hour a week job that you rent. A side hustle is something you own and you can control, and you can do it when you want, how you want. You might be with something that you get help with. Well, that's what we have. So I hope today, if I'm spurring some thoughts and you'd like to ask a question about it, jump on board. Talk to me. We'd love to hear from you. See, we got a couple folks from area code 253. Would you like to say hi?
Hello, hello, from the great
Hello.
Northwest.
Hi,
Yes,
who am I speaking to?
My name is Glenn Aiden.
Glenn. Hey, guy, how you doing?
We are doing fantastic. Say again?
Is that Chantel on the other line?
Oh, yes, sir. She is here.
I'm surrounded today. I better straighten up here. I got to shape up. Folks, everybody else that I'm saying hello to and just said hi to us is Glenn and Chantel Aiden from up there in the Northwest. You live in Tacoma, am I correct?
We are actually in DuPont, Washington, south of Seattle and Tacoma. But is it raining today?
Yes, sir.
Bright, sunshiny day.
All right. We just hear that Seattle and that area has a lot of rain around to it, but I also am told that you have the greenest areas and most beautiful, the leaves, the tree. It's always so fresh being up there. Glenn, you knew Rick Reese before Lynn and I did, and you've had this relationship with them that has changed your life. And not only that, you have been able to change the lives of many, many other people. And that's what I love about you. The other thing we love to do with you and Chantel, because we've had this privilege of being related through Rick and Brenda and the Surge 365 company, we've got to travel the world a little bit. Now, you've traveled a whole bunch more than us, but I remember the night we were dancing in the moonlight. We were down, I think we were in either Punta Cana or Cancun. I can't remember where we were. It was somewhere in the Caribbean. And we had a party on the beach. And we're dancing in the moonlight.
Yes, and we were on the beach.
It just was like a dream come true to understand and make friends. Here we are. We're thousands of miles away from each other, yet we formed a friendship that we don't say goodbye. We just say, we'll see you at the next beach. And that's so exciting to know that there's so much more out there and so much more that we can do. And we love to dance in the moonlight. We want to invite more people to join us on our party. And we've done that because this privilege, this I'll call it, we do have something that we have a responsibility, stewardship, to help other people. And my mom and dad always taught us that was really critically important in life. And they had always hoped that whatever we did was something we would do would be to help other people. And helping people is not just giving them $1. You may do that on occasion. We certainly support our church, and they use the money to help make the community better. We have a food bank, and we do mission trips. That does that, and we support that. But we also, in our efforts and what we do on a day-to-day basis, is help people live better. Have you found it to be that way for you?
Absolutely. The Northwest is one of the most beautiful areas in the world. That's kind of how we wound up here permanently. We were a military family, so we got to travel a lot even before we continued we decided to make travel as our mainstay and not just a side hustle. But, there's no comparison to the experiences that you have, the beaches, dancing in the moonlight in Punta Cana, or the sunsets in Jamaica. I mean, just breathtaking experiences, the beaches of the Caribbean. And it's just, the canals of Venice. Travel creates amazing, unforgettable memories. And that's one thing no one can take away from you, the experiences. But, you got one life to live. There's no redo. And a lot of us are in the fourth quarter. So, we've made it our mission to reach out and help, even the generations coming behind us. And that's kind of our motto, to share and to mentor, to connect with like-minded partners with a common vision. We met Rick Reese. I met Rick Reese personally in Las Vegas, leaning on a stage, didn't know who he was. He just got the personalities met. I mean, you can't plan it. And the events in San Diego where we gathered. I mean, it's endless, lifelong friendships and a golden opportunity to get involved in the largest industry in the world and to create financial freedom for your families.
Yeah,
yes. Hello.
Hey, Chantel, I knew you were there. I saw your phone number.
Friend. Absolutely
hello.
honored. Just honored, Ron and Linda and all who are here. We are honored to be in relationship with all of you. What a joy to be able to bring hope into people's lives, to teach them that, you know what, there is a greater life for you. It really is, and you can live that life. And we're here to come along and bring some hope, some fun, and dancing in the moonlight. And the first time we had heard you on the phone, but when we met in person in San Diego, an explosion took place. What a wonderful couple you are. What a beautiful honor to celebrate life with you. But I remember I'm seeing those pictures going by, and I love, the memories we've created with so many relationships. It's just continuing. And sitting there, I can see you sitting there. We were having lunch, and we were kind of in the chill mode, relaxing, and we were just having a wonderful conversation. And I'm going to thank you and give it back to you, Ron. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Well, thanks for coming on today. We appreciate both of you guys, and we speak about you all the time because we know that you have been involved in, you have a ministry that you've been involved in, and because the travel agency, the travel business has enabled you to create income, it has allowed you to operate your ministry even at a greater depth and expanse because you're not controlled by sitting in a cubicle or sitting at a piece of equipment having to work all day, all night. And you're able to be free so that you can go and help people when they need it where they're at. And this tool that we call Surge has so many different features to it. And we're constantly explaining to people. And sometimes there's so many facets to it, it's hard to explain it in one sitting. But the best thing we can do is allow people, and that's one of the reasons we have this radio show and we call it Travel Tuesday, we're able to expose the ideas and the concepts and tell stories. We call them testimonies. Though this isn't church, an awful lot of the people that come on this show share stories that how faith had worked in their life, and it was through faith they were able to accomplish. And even when they didn't see how it was going to happen, God still delivered. And so that's our story. We want to always tell that story. And this program that we have, that we operate on, this radio show, is able to reach out around the world. We actually go to 93 countries every day. And so we have different platforms. On those other platforms, they can listen in. But if you want to call in, by the way, the call-in phone number is 714-816-4686. And we invite people to call in. And we love to hear where you're at, where you'd like to go. And we've come across people, and we hear stories recently of how they made it through those horrible hurricanes and tornadoes that just whipped through Florida. Funny thing is, Linda and I were there the week before the hurricanes. What was the name of it? I can't remember the name. Milton. We were there a week before it hit, and we have friends that live there, and we talked to them, and we've talked to them since. And they were very blessed. They were not, their property had damage, but their home wasn't ruined, and they weren't flooded out. And they went away. They went to their children. They had secure housing, so they were able to get away from the storms. But we were just there, and we got on a plane, came home, and then we saw everything kind of through TV, and we were fortunate enough. But we love Florida. We think it's a great place, and have some means and thoughts maybe someday we'd end up there. We live in sunny, snowy Buffalo, New York. And that's one of the reasons we want to be in the travel business. Look, it's nasty. We want to get out of here. And so we can share that story. But there's other people that again, living in different parts of the country, we find out about on the West Coast, up north. We've had a dream of someday we want to go on that railroad, the Rocky Mountain Railroad out of Vancouver that goes through Canadian Rockies, and you go and they stop in one place and you get off and you go on and you walk. I guess you can walk on a glacier. I just think that would be cool. I'm not much for cold, but I'd like to do that one time, at least see what a real glacier looks like. Then go over to Lake Louise in Calgary, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place and a resort. There's a big resort there. We've just dreamed it would be so neat, and travel and sleep on a train. And we're going down through the Rockies, and you can see the animals, the bear and the deer and eagles, are sitting in the cars, and they got canopy cars where you sit and have your dinner, and you're watching all along the river and the mountains and the valleys and the big railroad trestles that take you off big, wide mountain between mountain to mountainside. I just love the idea of being able to do that and experience that. We're in Buffalo. We're fairly flat. South of here, about 20, 25 minutes. We have some ski resorts, but, they're baby hills compared to what you guys have. And so to be able to have that kind of experience, how about you guys I believe you guys have done some cruises, have you not? Chantel?
We have done some cruises. We also we've taken a train from California to Washington, and it was exactly what an experience. And we had the sleeper cabin, and it was quite an experience. We had a wonderful time. We got a chance to, meet people on the train, and you get off at different stops in the little cities all along the way. And yes, those mountains and rivers and lakes along the way, it is absolutely gorgeous. We have a lot of what you were talking about. You are going to absolutely enjoy the one you're talking about. I was researching that, and I also know right here where we are is in the Nisqually Basin. We're in a lot of Native American territory here, which is absolutely amazing to see with your own eyes. Eagles just everywhere. You have waterfalls, and I'm telling you, it is endless. It is just endless. The mountains are like, you go around the corner and you just see the mountains. I mean, it's like it's following you around Mount Rainier, but there's several mountains here. And it's a beautiful, beautiful scene. We had some other friends of ours down here on my birthday celebration. Glenn was showing them around on some of the hidden, thank you, on some of the hidden beaches. There are so many experiences here for you to have on the cafes underwater, to sit with your friends and your family and just have a relaxing conversation and have a great meal. But we absolutely love cruising, Ron. We like it. We like it a lot.
You know, the cruises are the most one of the most economical vacations, especially for families. And there's just nothing like a cruise. We've talked to people that let fear keep them from experiencing the cruise lines and all that they offer, the all-inclusives. But, you know, we are partnered with, we don't just talk the talk. We're not telling you what we heard. We're telling you what we know. But between Ron and Linda and Rick and Brenda, they are the cruise kings and queens. I don't know. I think the Reeses have been over on maybe 30 cruises. And Ron does one annually. So when it comes to cruising, numero uno. I mean, come on. That's who we are connected with.
Well, I love it. I love it because what happens is we get on board the ship, and you put your suitcase under the bed, you hang up your clothes, and that's the last time you deal with it till you get off the cruise. In between that, you go and you start out with we go to the restaurant and have breakfast off the menu, and enjoy breakfast. And we might go to the pool. We might go. They play bingo on the boat. There's all kinds of there's little stores on the boat. Then lunchtime we got wonderful buffets, and then we have more entertainment and the pools and the jacuzzis again in the afternoon, or laying in the sun, or we go on an excursion. Maybe go like when we were in the Caribbean. There's one excursion that we got on a catamaran, and we went out to a private island, and they had a lunch ready for us there, and we had to hang out on the beach. They had a massage on the beach parlor, and I'm telling you, had one of the best massages. I fell asleep. I was so at peace, and I remember I was hoping that the gal, the company that does this, would come to Buffalo, because I would love. This girl was good. She was fabulous, and I enjoyed that massage. It was just wonderful, and the memories that it has, and we loved it. We plan on going back there. Actually, we got on that cruise. We went to Cozumel. I think we've been there 5 or 6 times, and we went to Cancun. Now, Cancun, we ran into the all-inclusive hotels. That's where you get in. The last one we went to last March, February, I had my knee replaced, so I went in March. We went there to recover. So I spent most of our time there in the pool. But before we got to the hotel, the Omni, they had us send us a survey. We had to tell them what kind of pillow we wanted in our bed. Now, I don't know about you. I've never had anybody, even my mom and dad never asked me what kind of pillow. I don't think I remember there was a pillow there when I grew up. And, mom and dad bought me a pillow. That's what it was. See, it's so cool to be treated and have the opportunities to experience so many different things, and the food and the different foods and the restaurants. It was our 50th wedding anniversary, and the place we were in, they had 5 or 6, I can't remember how many restaurants, but every night we walked into the restaurant, and everybody knew at the place that it was our anniversary. So every night we had a special celebration. Every night the waiters would come out and sing to us. They'd bring out every night was like a tray with some kind of different dessert. Sometimes there were sparklers flashing on it, candles, and everybody singing, and the whole restaurant would join in. And you talking about a memory and an understanding. Oh, by the way, with a whole bunch of other, they were travel agents. They were people that are associates of ours, friends of ours, who surged. And everywhere we went, we shared these experiences, and we maybe saw them at a different place. I remember the first time we met you and Chantel was in San Diego. we were at an annual convention. We were down at the waterfront, and we got a chance that day. Just went to San Diego Zoo. I never saw a panda in my life, and we got to see the pandas, and it was really neat. They told us that day, normally in the afternoon, the pandas go to sleep. The day we were there, they were active and they were playful and playing, and it just was an unbelievable experience. The koala bears, the pink flamingos that were just so pretty. Guys, to share that, and the people that we shared it with, and we met new people, made new friends, they're just part of a what do they call it, a video log. We've got a group of memories that just continues. It doesn't stop. It keeps going. And you guys helped us to understand what we had at our hands, because you showed by example that if we would just help some other people do the same thing, we'd be able to make this world better, one person at a time. We're helping make this world a better place. And I see that we've got, now that he's done his stewardship for the day, I know that Rick Reese is now voted, and now you are welcome on the show. Hi, Rick.
And now I'm welcomed on the show. Wow. I love how he was recounting the memories. That's, boy, oh boy, that's the only thing that we have that's worth anything, the memories that we accumulate. And no better way to accumulate them than, with travel. You remember them so vividly, and they're always sweet, sweet memories. And like you were saying, whether it be the food, the people, the fun, the places, the sun, the beach, and I always remember, your story there when you and Linda was on the beach, and the waiters were coming by and waiting on you and bringing you food and different things, and just really just white glove treatment.
Go ahead, you can finish the story, Rick. Linda, they kept coming down and asking her. She had her first. Actually, I think it's one of her first strawberry daiquiris she ever had, and he kept bringing her strawberry daiquiris, and at one point she couldn't get out of the chair.
Well, that'll do it. But the service is just amazing. And I know Brenda and I, so we were in Punta Cana, and Brenda and I was playing in the water. They had the cabanas out there, and they had, like, I don't know if they call it a private pool or whatever. It's like a lake between us, And so Brenda and I playing in the water, and then we hear this couple say, "Hey, you guys getting on a call?" Right above where we were staying was Glenn and Chantel. They were on the balcony. We didn't even know they was on the balcony, right? And so we're just playing in the water. They were like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. We got our call." That's too funny. One of the things that's interesting about Glenn and Chantel, and when we travel like that, we don't even have to find them. We always run into them. We always find each other. And so we're on the ship. Of all these people, we were taking a cruise, leaving out of New Orleans, and all of these folks on the ship. We hit the elevator. Guess who comes off the elevator? And Chantel. We don't even have to look to find them. We're just like, ding.
You can't plan it. You cannot plan it.
You can't plan it. You can't plan it. But, we were in New Orleans at one of the conventions. See, that's the memories, the people. We were at a convention in New Orleans where they had the land and the sea. And so the first part of the convention, was the land. And I had put together this list of where is the best gumbo in New Orleans. And so we were going around trying the best gumbos. Now, Glenn and Chantel, did we not find the best gumbo and everything else?
It took some doing, but we did. Absolutely.
What was the name of that? Was that the House of Gumbo or something?
Gumbo Shop,
Gumbo Shop. Oh, my goodness.
And we're sitting there. They order. Brenda and I order.
all different orders, and we had to try each other's because it was just so good. I mean, it was just so good. The gumbo, the dish, the entree. You talk about some good eating.
Well, see, Rick,
uh,
I'm sure when you were sitting in the cubicle working for Uncle Sam, you probably weren't thinking that someday that there you were going to be meeting Glenn and Chantel in New Orleans. The distance between that cubicle and there, you thought of, maybe didn't picture them, but you probably had the dream, the vision that someday you were going to be in New Orleans. Someday you'd be on a cruise. How many cruises have you been on now?
Oh, about 32.
Why do they keep building new cruise ships and bigger ones and different kinds of? Because people are finding they enjoy them. And
hey,
so
you know,
what's really
travel
cool,
is huge. Go right ahead.
Well, a couple weeks ago, friends of ours from Canada had a relative in Toronto that wanted to go on a cruise at Christmas. And they called and said, hey, we want to go on this. They knew the ship they wanted. They had the ship picked out as one of Royal Caribbean's #1 ship, Oasis of the Sea. And it goes out of Fort Lauderdale, and they live in Toronto. But they want to go on this cruise at Christmas. Well, usually that cruise is booked a year in advance. That's normal, okay? Well, guess what? Linda, she did all the details, got all the information, called, and we have a special relationship with Royal Caribbean, and so we could do the details and put it together. Linda put the details together for a family, a 3-person, husband, father, mother, and a daughter, and she put the whole cruise together. And then the air transportation from Toronto to Fort Lauderdale, and you got passport stuff and money transfer from Canada to America, and it's a cruise line. Now it's a third party. I mean, she did all those details, Rick, put this thing together, and I'll just tell you, it's over a $7,000 deal, not including the air. Now, Linda, we didn't get, when you called us and we talked, and I talked about the travel industry, I had no clue that would ever be in our life. But, the funnest thing is these people are just thrilled with what Linda did for them. And excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. We are just so excited about being able to do that. And we have other people. Glenn mentioned we travel a lot, cruise a lot. Well, we do have a cruise in May. We're honoring, the Carnival Cruise Line is honoring Captain Len Kane, the original Top Gun. The guy's been nominated for 5 Nobel Peace Prizes for his work in the Golden Rule Society. He's a somebody. And so the cruise is sponsoring this, and he'll be on stage, and they're going to hope everybody on the cruise is going to honor Len Kane. This man's a hero, one of our hometown heroes. And so, yeah, we are doing this. And I got a text message from a guy who does work for Len, has for years. He lives in Yugoslavia. So he's coming on the cruise in America from Yugoslavia. But the guy that we know is in San Diego. This, how you get connected with people everywhere in the world, and the experiences and what it does for you, and the kind of things that we get to do. I say that we get to do. And you've taught us, and we've learned that if you're serving others, the world's your oyster. You can do, Lord will open doors for you, and he has, and he continues to do that. And we're so thankful and grateful that, number one, we took the advice of Dr. Joel Griffin and his wife, Arda, to talk to you and Brenda. And that's how we never would have met Glenn. Hey, Glenn, what's the chances of you and I dancing on the moonlight with our wives? What's the chances of that happening in a lifetime?
The chances are 100%.
That's right, because God said you need to know these people. They're great. They're great party goers. They're great cruisers. They're great people who touch lives every day that they live, and they're making my kingdom great. And because of that, we want to be with you too. And so now we've been privileged to be able to do that on a regular basis. How many more people can we help bring into the party?
That's so true. It's so true. And it's all about relationships. And the cool thing is they're long-term relationships. Some people are in your life, what do they say, for a season, for a reason, for whatever time period. But long-term relationships. And we've been in surge in the travel industry for over 20 years. Think about that. And full-time since 2005. Full-time since 2005.
Seems like yesterday.
I don't know. No, man. I don't know. It was a long time. It went by fast, but growing with the travel industry was an interesting experience. Growing with the online travel industry was an interesting experience. And because anything new has to catch on. When regular folks were able to have access to the travel agencies and to become a travel agent, when regular people were able to have access to online booking, to vacation clubs, and have access as business owners. You think about that. The largest industry on the planet, what is it, $11 trillion. And so being involved since 2004, we have grown with the industry and with technology and with the shift of everything going to the internet. And in a lifetime, there are opportunities. Ron, that is a window of opportunity to be blessed. I was reading this one book, I think, Glenn, you read it, The Outliers. Was it Outliers or was it Tipping Point? One of the two. And they was talking about the Silicon Valley. And they was talking about Bill Gates, and Steve Jobs, and the whole Silicon Valley. And they extrapolated back to the best time to be born, to be a Silicon Valley business mogul. and they identified a date in the 50s when all these guys were born, in that window and in that time period, to be mature to the point where, everybody was ready for computers, to have gone through a life experience, to be matured in whatever the age they were, 18, 20, from the 50s, born in the 50s, and to be young adults at the time that computers were exploding. And so they extrapolated back and said the best time to be a Silicon mogul was to be born, da-da-da-da. We were saying that for us right now in the travel industry, with as ripe as it is right now, coming off the pandemic right now, with everybody wanting to travel, 9 billion people locked down, the best time to be a travel industry business owner is right now. And what's the best company? Surge 365 right now. Why is Surge 365 the best company? It's the best company not only because of the integrity of the leadership and unashamedly, like we say as Gideon's Christian organization, but the umbrella of products that are available to us, where we have a product that touches every aspect of the travel industry, whether it be the travel agency career opportunity, whether it be the vacation club with concierge service, whether it be the online booking with the Vortex, whether it be, Ron, you just did this, the 7-day vacation stay in Daytona Beach. Hey, Ron, did that work? I hear Surge has a 7-day vacation stay, and sometimes it's 7, sometimes you can, whatever time period, you can stay one day.
Well,
does that work? I hear it advertised.
Well, 3 weeks ago, just before the hurricanes hit Florida, Lynn and I were in St. Augustine, in Daytona, and Jacksonville. We were there. And we were there because we had a 7-day stay, and we stayed at the Hilton across the street. We went out the front door of the hotel, and what we saw, there's a huge sign that says Daytona 500. That's the world-famous Daytona 500 Raceway. We were right across the street from it. And we stayed there, and it didn't cost me anything. I had to get down there, but we stayed, and around the corner from us was a couple nice little restaurants. We had dinner there, and then we went up to St. Augustine. We stayed at another place called the Ponce de Leon. You remember the guy that went looking for the Fountain of Youth? Well, I got to tell you, when you called us, Rick Reese, about 7 years ago, we found the Fountain of Youth.
Oh, my
and
God.
it's what it's done for us. And now we stayed at the Fountain of Youth, and we're going to go back there. It was a real nice, privately owned hotel, clean. I'm telling you, you could eat off the floor in this place. It was so clean. And they had a wonderful pool, and we just enjoyed ourselves over there. And so we had a trip that was went on. There's a little travel like a train that takes you on a tour for 2 hours all around St. Augustine, oldest city in America. And we saw the first churches that were ever founded, building churches that were built. There's a church there that Martin Luther King actually preached at. Then it's marked with a plaque for a historical site. We saw the first, just everything. The first. We were in this little town, and we took this trip. There's a fort there, Spanish Fort, St. Augustine. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. The weather was fabulous. And like I say, we left there before the storm came. But we had that trip because we're members of SURJ. And we own a business that we're in operation 12 months out of the year. Now, I just booked, just finished the paperwork. We got another trip coming. See, when you build your business and you keep it active, you stay operational for a full year, the company rewards you. They found out that if men, particularly, take get away, I don't mean take time off, get away for a week, they're less likely to have a heart attack or stroke. That's a medical fact. So I don't want to have another one. I unfortunately, I had a stroke, but that was other family genetics. But I'm in good shape. I stay in good shape because we travel. And so we went on a trip. So now we got another one. We got to figure out where we're going to go for this one. But in between that, we actually have a cruise booked for next May. And we're going down to Turks and Caicos and out of Port Canaveral in May. And that's going to be a great trip. So we've got things booked, packing up and building up for next year. And what I love about the fact is we have a company that recognizes and honors and respects people that operate and learn. First of all, you have to be willing to learn. Second of all, you need to be willing to do. And number 3, when you don't know, ask. See, I call you almost every day because I always have questions. I'm like the guy in class. I don't ever shut up. I'm raising my hand every day. And I got a call the other day. We wanted to be able to share the new video that the company has. They're introducing people. We have a guy that told me flat out, I want to know more about your travel business. I need to have his words, by the way, this is where I learned it. His words, I need to have a side hustle for my job. I got 2 daughters, and the job is not going to provide me with the income for me to put my daughters through college. And we want to go on a trip. I want to take them on a family trip. So I sent him yesterday, and I called you, Rick, and I learned how to use my computer because I'm not good at it. I used to be. I'm getting better. And you showed us how to do it. So we sent him the videos. So he wants to see about getting started with us to become. He wants to join the club. He wants to dance on the moonlight like we do. And so I didn't know anything. He said that to me. I want to join you guys. It's amazing how many people are looking, and all you need to be is to open the door and be there.
You know what's interesting about that is that when you have something, people are looking for it. And you have it, so you can give it to them. When you don't have something, they're not looking for it through you because you don't have anything. The law of attraction is amazing because that is just having something to offer people. How do they even know that you have something to offer them? That's when it goes into the woo.
No, actually, that goes to God.
Hey, you're absolutely right. I'm just kidding. That is the power of God, of making a decision to say, you know, I'm all in. And then when you make that decision and say you're all in, you are sent. And you call it stewardship. It's stewardship in the kingdom. And but you have to make that decision though. If a person, and we're just talking travel, but this is life. You know, when you choose actually, you know, even a relationship, people will be sent you. It's stewardship. But it lets you know that you have more control than you think. You know, one of the things we were just talking about, how imagining creates even reality. And being able to imagine a thing, to believe a thing, it is so. You know, first you have to believe. And then when you believe, things start to happen. Things fall in place. And we talk about the how is not even yours. The holding the belief, you know, holding on to the belief, you know, seeing the end of a thing and praying the end of a thing and then watching things fall and how God puts everything in place leading to that end that you believe and stand on. That's the most amazing thing, Ron.
Rick,
you're right. It's God.
Well, you know, I think everybody would agree. God has a plan, and he wants certain things to happen. And notably, in fact, I know this truthfully, if God plans it, it's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Now, if he wants certain things and people to do certain things or have certain things, he needs somebody to step into that place to fulfill it. Mm-hmm. The thing is, he designates and he opens the door for anybody to do anything. But if the person who says, okay, you say yes, Lord. And, you know, when you do that, then he can fulfill it. And like you said, all of a sudden, where's it come from? Well, he already planned it. We just have to accept it.
The dream unfulfilled only because you don't make a decision. Oh, my gosh. Wow, that's pretty powerful. The dream unfulfilled simply because you didn't choose. You didn't make a decision. Not just this, not just travel, but just anything in life can lead to a dream unfulfilled when you are indecisive in your decision making, and you don't know which way you want to go. And wow, man, that's why make a decision. Make a decision, whether it be something like travel, whether it be something like just in life to serve others. Make a decision to volunteer because everything begins after that decision. Thank you, Ron.
Well, I just want to thank everyone, particularly our friends from up there in the Northwest today, Glenn and Chantel. Thank you so much for joining us today. You're always welcome. And you enrich our life because you share, and we're just grateful. And Rick, we're just onward and upward. More things are happening. I got some more people to introduce you, and we'll be doing that this week. Thanks, Rick.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We'll see ya.